Hello, hello, it's Martin here with my property clinic. Your chance to ask me all sorts of questions about everything to do with anything from the world of property, homes under the hammer, life, the universe and everything. Oh, Douglas Adams. Oh, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Oh, I haven't even started yet. I'm on a ramble. Do you remember that? It was just so good. Marvin the Paranoid Android. How could it be worse? Brain the size of a planet, and they asked me to open a door. Inspired. If you haven't read Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where have you been? Anyway, so yes, you can ask me absolutely anything. Make sure that you like this video, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, and yeah, tell your friends. On Mondays, we do Ask Martin Monday, hashtag Ask Martin Monday. That's on Twitter. You can ask your questions there, or you can ask your questions under here on the comments section if you want. All right, so let's go through some questions. These are questions that have been sent in by real people to my Twitter. So here we go. Matt, fairly relevant question, but who cares? What's Graham like on a night out? Now, by this question, I presume you mean the Grahams who we feature on the show, not just random Grahams, because I'm sure that there's random Grahams who are out there who are absolutely fantastic on a night out. And there's probably Grahams out there who are very boring on a night out. I don't mean that really. But I presume that you either mean Graham Penny or Graham Barton. Graham Penny being Mr. West Midlands, does Graham Penny auctions. Graham Barton, man of the stripy jacket fame, who does the auctions down in the West Country. Well, we don't go as much as we used to, very sadly. But I think both of them would be an absolute blast on a night out. And we did years ago have dinner as a thank you, lunch as a thank you to all the auctioneers. And the person who was sorting out the show at the time got everyone together and we all went and had a very smart meal. I think it was at the Savoy or somewhere. It was lovely. And we got all the different auctioneers together and it was hysterical. I know, crazy lot, but just brilliant. Matthew Britton asks, on a scale of 1 to 10, how annoyed are you when you meet a buyer who broke all the golden rules and find out that they made a massive profit? Right. Well, if you don't know what the golden rules are, the golden hammer rules are visit the property beforehand, make sure you read the legal pack. Okay, I mean, they're fairly simple. There's lots of other rules when it comes to buying property at auction. And in fact, elsewhere in the channel, you will find a whole thing on buying at auction and the pitfalls of that. Well, it might be there yet. Have I recorded it yet? Well, if I haven't, it'll be there very soon anyway. So there are lots of things that can go wrong when you buy at auction. But the two basic things are you've got to visit the property and you've got to look at the auction pack. Now, very annoyingly, I say annoyingly, sometimes people don't do either of those things and they still somehow manage to make a profit or things go well. And you know, I'm not saying I want things to go wrong for them because I don't, but I prefer it if people didn't do those things because you're setting yourself up for all sorts of problems if you just mess it up. And sometimes it might go fine, a lot of the time it won't, and you've just lost potentially thousands of pounds, so why bother? So yes, on a scale of 0 to 10, 9.73, I would say. Alice asks, what is your most memorable transformation on the show? Well, there have been many. I do remember one in Plymouth, and it was an old watchtower on the Plymouth dockyard. And I seem to remember the people stripping out the whole interior and filling it with like a wooden structure and getting a spiral staircase and these rooms going off. Do you remember that one? It was absolutely amazing. So that's probably one. One which, believe it or not, we're still waiting to film. I mean, this is years on. Probably 10 years ago, we visited a property which was what's called a Martello Tower. They are basically Napoleonic forts that were built along the south coast to repel whoever we were repelling at the time, and they look like an upturned sandcastle. I mean, they are upturned sandcastle, like a kid's sandcastle, and they look just like that. They've got walls that are about 10 feet thick. They are architectural monuments, which puts them in the same category as Stonehenge. So you can imagine getting planning on Stonehenge, new conservatory. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy at all. But it was built by an architect who I think had amazing plans for it. He was going to put like a whole thing on the top. A 360-degree view thing, which made it sort of just have this glassy thing at the top. It would have been spectacular. We're still waiting for it to be finished. He's probably still trying to get planning. Anyway, Sharon Gleave. Hello, Sharon. Morning, Martin. We have an ensuite, but really don't use it. Would it be more beneficial to turn it into a bedroom? It's big enough for a box room, and it will fit a single bed. If we did, could it be classed as a 4-bedroom house? Well, as long as your room is big enough and meets building regulations in terms of fire escape and safety and floorboards and all that kind of stuff, then I don't see why not. And en suites are nice, but probably in terms of value, an extra bedroom, as long as it's not too small, I would say, would probably be the way to go. It'd be great for a baby's room, maybe, or a child's room, you know, even if it was off. Oh, it is, that's the point. Now, it is off a bedroom, so it's like an ensuite, obviously. So you'd have to go through the bedroom to get to it. Now, that isn't ideal, is it, thinking about it? However, if it was something like a kid's bedroom, then I think you probably get away with that. So I would say, on balance, probably. Ian Sparks asks, when going back to film the finished properties, do the production team ever have to advise the owner to rectify things before filming can start? Ooh. Well, we don't generally interfere with what people are doing. So we kind of go back and film what is going on. The only things we will do is if there was a health and safety issue where there were wires hanging from the ceiling and floorboards missing and da-da-da-da-da, in which case we would probably not be able to film that. Now, whether we would actually tell the people that they would probably not tell them, so well, you can't, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, we would, yeah, probably. Like this one, Nigel de Pong. Great name. Can you drive a tractor? Well, no, not yet. However, I occasionally, and this is a ramble, I occasionally go to something called the Great Dorset Steam Fair. If you've never been, you must absolutely go. It is held in a place just near Blandford Forum. It is, quite frankly, one of the best events, possibly, in the world. Now, it takes place, I think, in August, the last August bank holiday. So hopefully it'll happen this year, unlike Glastonbury, which won't. I had tickets to go. Although they are saying that you can use tickets for next year. Phew, I love Glastonbury. It's so sad. Anyway, look, the Great Dorset Steam Fair. Hopefully that will be happening. And it is a collection of, I think it's the biggest collection of steam engines. And when you know the old-fashioned traction engines with those and the wheelie things and the lights, and they have what's called showman's engines, and showman's engines were used to generate power before they had, mobile generators at fairs. And they have all these things, and it's all lit up at night, and then you have all these amazing characters, and there's beer tents, and I love them, people who actually sit by these things called stationary engines. And these stationary engines are just things like an old-fashioned engine, and it just goes, and they don't do anything. These motors just like, they pump water from one bucket to another bucket and then back up to the first bucket. But not pumping, it's beautiful and gorgeous and tum. Anyway, to get back to the tractor question, told you it was a ramble. They have the best ever auto jumble. Oh my gosh, like a car boot sale gone mad. Absolutely amazing. And bizarrely, one of the things they had was a tractor. I have to say, I do like tractors. I mean, they are beautiful things. Old tractors are gorgeous. Anyway, so this tractor, I've got a middle name, and it was the same middle name as me. And it was just blue, really old, and just a beautiful piece of, I don't know, old engineering. And so I bought it. I mean, it wasn't terribly expensive. I didn't need a tractor, but, interesting one to explain to the wife. I just bought a tractor. But I don't think I told her. She won't work. That could be interesting. And it's fab. But I haven't driven it yet because there's lots of levers and buttons and things. So it's currently sitting in a field. And one of these days I will learn to drive it. And I can't wait. Thank you very much, Ian, for your question. Nigel, for your question. So here's an interesting one. Have you heard of a thing called Athletico Mince? I think it's, if you just search it, and it is a sort of football-y thing. It is absolutely amazing. There's one bit of it which is utterly fantastic, where they've actually done a cartoon of me. I mean, a proper cartoon. It's like The Simpsons type thing. And I go to visit various footballers' homes and comment on their homes. Pat Main asks, "Hi Martin, which was your favourite episode of Footballers' Homes from Athletico Mince? The Phil Jones one was a personal highlight." I mean, I'm so touched that somebody went to the trouble of creating these little animations with me as the main character, visiting these footballers. You've got to see it, Athletico Mince. And apparently it is where the expression, "it's a bit unusual, but I like it." I mean, I do say that, but they've sort of toned in on that. And it's very funny. But I'm so touched to have a cartoon done. It's brilliant. So, yeah, if you get a chance, Athletico Mince. Truly awesome. James Wadworth asks, does Dion Dublin smell nice? He looks like he does. How does somebody look like they smell nice? Well, he's pretty well turned out. And to answer your question very simply, yes, he does. He wears a very nice aftershave, thank you very much. Trevor Hall asks, hi Martin, we know the music links in with your pieces to camera, but which comes first? Do the editors choose a song and you include an appropriate wording, or do you write the script and then find music to match? Write a script? You think, honestly, this is written down? It's totally made up as I go along. Honestly, no script. What? No, it's made up as I go along. You know what? We work together. I sometimes come up with ideas for musical things that are going to link in. The editors sometimes do it, and it's a collaboration of the two sometimes, and I sometimes set them up for a good link, and sometimes they just come up with music I wouldn't have believed they could have thought of. So it's a mixture. Thank you, Trevor. Andrea writes, what would you recommend as the best driveway finish to complement a barn conversion? We're thinking resin bound versus cobbles. Needs to be permeable to meet planning permission and regulations. So permeable, yeah. Well, you know what? Resin bound is like where they come along and they will almost print your driveway out of, could be resin, could be concrete, could be some weirdo kind of composite material I don't know the name of, and they'll basically stamp the pattern of whatever on it. Now in terms of permeability, I don't know about that, but then again, I wouldn't have thought cobbles were very permeable, but I would always go for traditional because I think cobbles are going to look great. Barn conversions, wow, they're probably quite expensive these days. I haven't bought a cobble for a while, have you? Yeah, they're going to be difficult to put down. Probably not. So I'll probably go cobbles. And so writes, my bathroom badly needs to be revamped. I don't do bath, so would love a shower. It is, however, the only bathroom for a 3-bed house, so should I stick to a bath? Room is tiny, so no room for both, unfortunately. Thank you. Thank you for your question. Well, I am still a believer that you could go completely avant-garde and take out the bath all completely. Most people do have showers rather than baths. I get that, but there's nothing quite like the soak of a bath, is there? And I think to take it out completely, if you've got young kids, you might be bathing them in the bath or whatever. So why don't you try and compromise, Anso, and go for a P-shaped bath? So that is a bath which isn't shaped round like a P, but has one end of it wider than the rest of it. So if you were to stand it up, it would look like a letter P. So you've got narrow bit at the end here and then the wider bit at the end, which is where you stand when you have your shower. I think that is the answer to your problemos. Tony Evans, Homes Under the Hammer doesn't mention much about property crime in an area or security features of a property. Do you have any tips in improving or for improving home security, such as best types of doors, windows, garden fences, security systems, lighting, etc. to install? Well, Tony, I would suggest your first port of call should be your police force. They have people who know exactly about all this stuff and can give you advice. Now, unfortunately, the first time you meet them is when they visit your house after you've been broken into, which is not ideal. So, as with all these things, possibly engage them early on and find out if they're willing to bob along and give you some advice, perhaps. And then when it comes to buying doors and locks, various security things, always look for stuff that's insurance rated. Okay, it'll have a kite mark on it and it'll say approved by insurance or improved to insurance standards. And generally, if you go for one of the better known makes, they will have that kind of kite mark and stuff on it. And so it's one of those areas where it's probably not worth scrimping on the cost of your security for sure. But certainly involve the police at an early stage and that'll work very well. The Shonk asks, do you film all the intro bits with the three of you on the same day, or do you all drive up and meet each other around the country at random times for the fun of it? Well, yeah, when we just drive around and meet randomly, actually. And it's just always incredibly lucky that there's an entire film crew there waiting for us. Yeah. We have probably 6 or so times a year where we all get together to do the link bits. It's all arranged on a day that we can all make it, and sometimes it's 2 days back to back, and then we will film approximately 20 programmes worth of linky bits, the ins and outs, the hi there, welcome to the shows, on one day, and it's always good fun, and we always have a chance to catch up and have a laugh. Ed asks, have any of the properties ever been haunted? Well, I think so. Certainly 1 or 2. We were filming in this one house, and this is a bit of a spooky story, so if you don't like spooky stories, stop. Fast forward or whatever. It's the scene, and I'll go even darker with my voice. So we were in a house just outside Warrington. Obviously been owned by somebody who'd become a little bit eccentric, and the whole house was covered in security cameras, and it had been left quite a while and there was ivy growing all through the windows and the bathroom and everywhere. There was just a feeling about it. It was just, none of us really felt very happy. Anyway, we carried on. So we came to see the interview, and we did an interview with the new owner. We did it in a bedroom, stripped floorboards. Most of the house had been cleared out, apart from these security cameras which were all over the place. We started the interview, and about halfway through the interview, there was a pendant light fitting, a light bulb just by where we were. And halfway through the interview, the light bulb, which was one of those bayonet light bulbs, so you know, it fell off, fell out, fell to the floor. That in itself is a bit spooky. What's even more spooky is that it fell and landed about 3 feet or a metre away from where it should have landed according to the force of gravity. So instead of going straight down, it went shoom. We asked the estate agent when we met him if there's anything strange about this house, and it turns out that that was the room that the man who lived in it had died in, and that he was paranoid about people coming into his house, which is why I had all the security cameras. So I think we were disturbing his peace, and he told us about it. So, to answer your question, not many, but definitely one. Careless Whisper asks, do you have a shed that you potter about in? Do I have a shed? Do I have a shed? No. I have 8 sheds. I love sheds. If I run out of space in the house for stuff, I just build another shed. I've got 8 sort of smushed into the garden. You know, no, the shed is just ace. And I've got, you know, one shed for bits, another shed for tools, another shed for something else, I can't remember. But you never have too many sheds. Gemma Barrington, just a few more questions. Are you doing any DIY or home improvements whilst in lockdown? Well, yes, I am. And I'm filming them, and they're all on this channel, Martin Roberts Property Tidbits. So if you go to some of the other playlists, you'll see DIY projects for adults, you'll see DIY projects for kids. And it's just to inspire you, if you've never tried DIY, DIY projects that you might want to get involved in. And I'm not talking about major refurbishment of a house, although there's some hints and tips on things you can realistically do. But, you know, some DIY projects you can just have fun with, and then some DIY project ideas for the kids. I'm talking about projects which they can enjoy doing and building, things like building a bike ramp or a swing ball. So yes, and they're all on this channel, so check them out. Sue Cook asks, is there a format to work out how much an extra room will add in value to a property? No. And that's because property prices vary so much throughout the country, so you couldn't really have kind of percentage. But the best thing to do is just speak to a local estate agent, because they will be able to tell you how much it would cost or how much it would be worth if it was 3 beds, and how much it would be worth if it was 4, or whatever you're thinking about doing. Sarah Rossellini asks, Martin, how do you find good builders to work with? That's the biggest bugbear. Oh my gosh. Finding a good team of people around to surround you is so important. I call it finding my dream team. And if you want to know all about that kind of stuff, all about property renovation and investment strategies, do check out the Property Masterclass on my YouTube as well, where we'll take you through the whole thing. One of the things we talk about is building a dream team, and one of the major elements of that dream team is your builder. So once you find one, stick onto them like glue, okay? You find them by word of mouth. You find them by just looking around at jobs that are being done around your area and just going in there and talking to the people who are doing them. Friends who've had work done. I mean, there's websites which recommend builders. And then when you find one, you want to just get 2 or 3 or 4 quotes for a job and meet them, and make sure you come up with a contract between you. So it's not just, yeah, I'll do that, mate. Make sure it's written down exactly what everyone expects. When you find a good one, stick with it. But it's not easy. It isn't. Once you found one, they will stick with you as well if you treat them fair. Finally, Bob Nobbs asks, are you a jacket and jeans man when you're not at work? Or is that only an on-screen wardrobe choice? Well, you know what? I've stopped wearing so many jackets. I went through all sorts of periods on Homes and Lambert. I used to wear a suit years ago, and then I did jacket and trousers, and then they kind of relaxed it and I could wear jeans, so I wore jacket and jeans, and I think that is my preferred thing now. And so I do wear jackets and jeans or coats and jeans, but around the house, God, no. Wow, no chance. I mean, I like to look okay, but I'm more of this kind of t-shirty kind of rugby shirty kind of bloke when I'm around the house. And I do wear shorts as much as possible. In fact, I've got them on today. See, there's a leg. It is attached to a pair of shorts. So around the house, it's generally this kind of thing and a pair of shorts. So anyway, there we go. Thank you so much for your questions. Keep them coming. Ask Party Mondays, or you can, as I said, ask your questions in the comments below. Remember to like this. It's very important. Like. And subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I'll have more of this stuff for you very, very soon. In the meantime, take care.